Okay, let's break down the saying. Men sacrifice their happiness for marriage, women sacrifice their marriage for their happiness.
Uh-oh.
Because sis said that doesn't make sense. So let me break it down because this is something that men are saying. And so maybe if I say it, it will kind of resonate a little bit more. I'm not going to hold you. A lot of times, women, we only think about us and what we give up and what we sacrifice. I mean, men do this too, but in marriage, a lot of times we don't always consider what the men give up. Now, this is going to sound crazy because our
And what do men give up? I'm a married man. I'm a married man. I didn't give up shit to be married to my wife. I mean, sleeping with other women, but I don't necessarily consider that like I gave up something because that's not a good or a bad thing. Like me sleeping with other women isn't good. I mean, in most cases, it ends up being a negative thing, right? But so it's not a good or a bad thing. Like me not, being promiscuous or whatever. And once again, I don't give a fuck about people being promiscuous. I'm just saying, like me being promiscuous, me stopping being, um, avoiding promiscuity is not like I sacrifice anything. What did I actually sacrifice? Right. So I don't know. As a man, as a married man of almost 14 years in a few weeks from now, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what men give up. I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what she thinks men give up, though.
needs are different. But before y'all react, before y'all get triggered, before y'all just listen first and then comment. Just then comment.
Mhm.
When men get married, it is not a fairy tale for them. They're not looking forward to this extravagant wedding. They are not rushing to be with one woman. Now, hear me out. A good man, a man that's God fearing, does not mind giving up that part of himself to be with one woman.
I am not God fearing. I don't even know if I would call myself a good man. But again, me not sleeping with multiple women is not a sacrifice for anybody. Again, what is the actual sacrifice? It's almost like saying, like, I don't know. I don't know what to equate this to. I was going to say something. I'm like, that wouldn't be a 1-to-1, but it's just not it's not much of a sacrifice. I'm once again, I'm saying it as a man who had access to plenty of women. I wasn't no incel. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like I had access to plenty of women. I could have, if I was single for another 10 years, I could have slept with as pretty much as many women as I wanted to. And with all that being said, I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, I did not give up anything to be married to my wife. At this point, sleeping with a bunch of women is not a sacrifice. I'm sorry. Giving that up is not a sacrifice. I'm sorry. I I don't know what to tell you. I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose anything. Nothing.
Most men, though, it is not their dream and their fantasy to be with one person the way it is for us. We don't need a slew of men. We don't need a roster. We don't need a bunch of people to make us feel good. Men are way more sexual than we are. We are content with one person. Men have to fight against their flesh, fight against their natural desires.
Uh, Natural desires is cap. That's cap, man. It's not men's natural desires to sleep with a bunch of women. That's not our natural desire. We are we are programmed and conditioned to objectify women first and foremost. We are programmed and conditioned to now value and respect women, so we can easily just sleep with them and disregard them. We are programmed and conditioned into believing that the more women you sleep with, the more your value increases as a man. All of these things are social conditioning. None of this is natural. Again, as a man, I could say, I'm telling you this as a man. If you think what you're saying is valid because I'm telling you this as a man, what you're saying is wrong, without a doubt. I don't even want to get into the science part of it because science would also agree with me. But just objectively, I'm sorry, subjectively, um, anecdotally, it doesn't matter. It's this is all made up. It's not none of this is real. None of this is actually like a sacrifice, right?
More sexual than we are. We are content with one person. Men have to fight against their flesh, fight against their natural desires to be with multiple women. So that is a sacrifice they give up for the woman that they love. And I know somebody's going to be like, but they cheat. I'm not talking about them. I'm just saying in general. Just listen, y'all. Stay here, ladies, because I know how y'all get. Just wait a minute. Also, when a man gets married, he is sacrificing not only protecting himself, but he has to now protect a family.
Where again, what is the sacrifice? Right? Hold on. Give me a second. Just so we're clear, so we can understand this. This is why I'm asking what is the sacrifice? So she's saying that men, when they get a family, they have to give up protecting themselves. Why do I have to give up protecting myself? And so that we can protect the family. Now, in that instant, right? In that instance, I could potentially or would potentially have to sacrifice my health and or my safety to protect my family. But that is only if and when that arises. The vast majority of men are never asked or never called upon to do that. So you can't say that men are sacrificing anything in that instance. It would have to be something that men actually sacrifice. Because here's the thing. Here's the definition. Something offered in sacrifice, right? What am I giving up? The idea? Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? I don't understand. I've been married to my wife for a while. I've been with her for almost fucking 20 years. I've never had to sacrifice my health for her. I've never had to put my health or my body on the line for her, right? Destruction or surrender of something for the sake of something else. Never had to do that for her or my family. Never had to. Something given up or lost. What am I giving up? I haven't seen it yet. What am I giving up? I don't understand. The thing should be material to some extent, right? Now, I will tell you without a doubt what women, since we're on men potentially sacrificing their bodies, right? What women give up, women actually do sacrifice their bodies when they have children, which is very common. You know what I'm saying? 80+% of people end up having babies. So in marriages, nothing's different. Those rules don't change. So women are almost guaranteed to sacrifice their bodies so that they can have children. That's a sacrifice. That is a sacrifice. The sacrifice for men in this, think about what I'm saying. Women, over 80% of the time, actually do sacrifice their health and their bodies to have children. Men, if you're saying, if we're comparing one to one, like men and women both have to sacrifice stuff, men are sacrificing what to protect their families? We don't have to protect our families. It's 2025. We don't live in caves. There's no polar bears. And in those days, women would fight next to the man. Like, I'm not understanding that. That gives you I don't think you guys understand. That gives you the best chance of survival. Think about it. Somebody broke into my house. One person broke into my house, and me and my wife, we can't get out the house because if she can get the kids out the house, or, you know what I'm saying? If she can get the kids out the house, then we can all get out of the house. Let's all leave, right? And I'm cool with leaving. I don't need to stay in there. I don't need to protect my property over my family. Are you fucking stupid? I'm the easiest person to rob. I'm out of here, right? But if the intruder, because this is y'all favorite scenario, if the intruder like comes into my room and it's me and my wife, we both are attacking. Like, what are you talking about? If there's an opportunity, we both are fucking fighting. We probably gonna unalive anyway. I know that. I know if somebody breaks into my house while I'm there, I'm 1,000% sure they're gonna try to unalive me. Like, why would you break in when I'm here? If you just want to steal the stuff, wait till I leave. But you're in here for me now. That's what I'm thinking automatically, or my wife. So at that point, we fighting. We fighting, and my wife is gonna fight with me because that gives us the best chance of survival. Me fighting the man one-on-one does not give us the best chance of survival. Like I said, if the intruder is actually in the home and we can't get out of the house, the best chance of survival now is both of us fighting him. And if my kids are old enough, all of us fighting him. Like, you guys are dumb if you think it, like y'all, like we're not. It's not. That's not heroic. That's stupidity. Of course, I would sacrifice myself for my family if it came to that. But let's be so fucking for real. Women sacrifice their bodies. They sacrifice their bodies. Men don't. Let's move around. Men ain't sacrifice shit. You're 0 for 2 right now, man. You're 0 for 2.
Not only protecting himself, but he has to now protect a family. If a cop, burglar, whatever comes to the door, like if anybody knocks at the door, my husband answers the door because he is the protector of this household.
How is this a sacrifice? Let's do the math. One more time. Let's do the math. Let's say he doesn't have a family. Who answers the door? I'll wait. If somebody knocks on his door and he doesn't have a family, who answers the door if he's there, if it's his house? Him, right? Okay, cool. He has a family. Somebody knocks on the door. You're saying he answers the door. What is he sacrificing? Seems like the same thing. What is the sacrifice? Like, this is so crazy.
Does not expect me to get up in the middle of the night or get up when the doorbell rings to make sure that the household is protected. That is his job. So a man knows when I sign up.
How often is this happening, first and foremost? And if it's happening a lot, move from that neighborhood. B, how, again, is this sacrificing? None of this, again, sacrifice. Something offered in sacrifice, destruction or surrender of some. What is being destroyed? What is being surrendered? Or something given or lost? Where is any of this happening in this scenario?
To be a husband, I am now her protection and my children's protection. Men also know that their resources are no longer for them, they are for their family. However, good men do not mind because that's what makes them feel good as men. However, it is a huge investment in the man. They're investing their time, their loyalty, they're going against their nature to be with one woman, love one woman, take care of a family because they love, when they're loved properly, when they know that woman has their back and that she's loyal, they don't mind making that sacrifice. They don't mind denying the things that they want, the good ones. They don't mind denying the things that they want to make sure that their family is straight.
Like, giving men kudos for doing this stuff is wild to me because this is bare minimum. Like, bare minimum stuff that men should be doing. Taking care of his family, the family that he asked for. Yeah, take care of them. No sacrifice. I don't see any sacrifice as of yet. But she's talking about sacrificing his finances. Let's look at this chart real quick. So this shows that married men make more money. They make 11% on average. They make 11% more money than non-married men, right? And if you could look at the chart right here, married men between the ages of 25 and 44, they break it down by hourly wage, right? So it's about $23 an hour, $23, $24 an hour, $21, $22 an hour for was married, which still married, and then never married makes the least almost $4 an hour less. Same thing up here, 45, but then it drops off a lot more when the man has never been married. So married men make more money than non-married men, right? So financially, he's not sacrificing as of yet, right? So you can find this is the New York Times article. It's just talking about the gender pay gap. Just real quick, want to go over some things it says. But the bulk of the pay gap, 73% they found is from women not getting raises and promotions at the rate of men within companies. Seniority experience seemed to pay off much more for men than women. On every possible front, women are getting the short end of the stick, Miss Kerr said. whether they're changing jobs or trying to stick with the current employer, the returns are always smaller. The average college educated man, for instance, improves his earnings by 77% from age 25 to 45, while similar women improve their earnings by only 31%. Men without college degrees increase their earnings much faster than similar women in the first decade of their careers, but by age 45, women catch up. Even women who catch up, however, pay a long term price. They've lost a significant amount of pay in wages, raises, and retirement savings along the way. So, what they're talking about here is are women uh, who are with children. This is talking. It says the gender pay gap is largely because of motherhood. According to data, Ms. Kerr said college educated women make about 90% as much as men at age 25, and about 55% as much at age 45. Now, what happens between the ages of 25 and 45 typically? You get married, you have kids. When so basically, when the men and women are young and not wedded and are unwedded and don't have kids, they make about the same amount of money. 90%, really close. 10% is still, it doesn't need to be 10%, right? There should be no gap, but it's about 10%. Fine. But once the woman has children, once the woman is married, which is viewed as a negative for women and a positive for men, she loses money. So women actually are the ones who sacrifice in a marriage when she gets married and when she has kids. Women are the ones who sacrifice, not men. This is not an example of men sacrificing, but in all reality, an example of how women sacrifice.
Properly, when they know that woman has their back and that she's loyal, they don't investing their time, their loyalty, they're going against their nature to be with one woman, love one woman, take care of a family because they love, when they're loved properly, when they know that woman has their back and that she's loyal, they don't mind making that sacrifice. They don't mind denying the things that they want, the good ones. They don't mind denying the things that they want to make sure that their family is straight.
I swear to God, I, as a man, I hate hearing this. Like as a man, we do not need this. We do not. We don't like giving men cookies, talking about men are sacrificing and all of that stuff for doing the absolute bare minimum because we signed up to have a. It's like saying I sacrifice, I have a job, right? Like this is what I'm saying. I need to work and I want to work, right? And let's say I need to, like, I don't need to work every job, but let's say I want to work at a specific place. And to work at that specific place, I must complete some trainings. I must get a little bit of education. I may pass a test or two, whatever the case may be. I may have to work a couple more hours a day or whatever it is, right? But I really want this job. I don't have to have this job though. I can have a job that pays less. I can have a job that's closer to my home, whatever it is. I want this job is further away, whatever it is, right? I don't have to have this job. I could easily have a job that's closer to my house and I don't have, you know what I mean? And I don't have to sacrifice so much of my time or whatever, but I want this job. Imagine somebody coming along and patting me on the back and being like, oh man, I really respect your sacrifice for you working this job that you didn't have to fucking work. Like what? I don't know. Nobody's putting a gun in my head and making me work this job. I don't have to commute if I don't want to. And this is not for everybody. If you have to commute, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to pay you need to make a certain amount of money to pay your bills. You couldn't find a job that was close and you had to commute. Fine. I'm saying, let's say I could find a job closer to home that would, do good for me, but there's just certain benefits about this job or whatever the case may be. I see value in having this job and therefore I sacrifice my time or whatever, but nobody asked me to. I don't have to do that. Men don't have to have families. So since we don't have to have families, and since the families didn't ask to be here, specifically the kids, since they didn't ask to be here, we don't deserve a pat on the back for quote unquote sacrificing for them. We're not sacrificing shit.
That's why back in the day, granddaddy, even men today though, men will sacrifice, get up every single day and never complain about having to go to work.
They complain every day. Men, all men do is complain. Stop. All men do is complain.
Never complain about sitting in traffic, never complaining about your nasty pot roast, never complaining. They will just live.
I am the man that complained about nasty pot roast. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I've told the story many a times. My wife, when we had our our children were really young. She had a newborn, and Jackson was 2 years old, 3 years old, or whatever. Um, she was a stay-at-home mother, right? It was she wasn't going to school yet either, so she was really a stay-at-home mother. She cooked all my meals for me, and I appreciated it. I did, but I would I would have critiques. I would, needs more salt, it needs more oregano, it needs more garlic, or I don't really like how you cook it to that consistency, and it's burned, or whatever it was. I complained. Yeah. So I get 100%. I'm going to tell you I was that man. Without a doubt. I'll bring my wife on here. She'll tell you guys. I was that man. Yeah. No doubt about it. So Cap. This is Cap. We complain. Men complain all the time.
Their lives, they shut up, they do what they gotta do to put their family on their back, to hold it down in any way they can. The good ones, not saying men are perfect, I'm just saying that's what they.
She keeps saying the good ones, but most men aren't the good ones. We're not talking about men in general, now you're no longer talking about men in general. Because the statement said, and I quote, men sacrifice themselves for their families. Women sacrifice their families for themselves, right? That's men in general. You keep adding the caveat of good men. You keep prefacing good men, whatever the case may be. Don't do that. Just keep it 1-to-1. Are we talking about men in general? Is this applicable to most men? Is this applicable to most men? Or are you talking about a specific group of men? Because if you're talking about good men, I would agree with you. If the proverbial good men, I can agree. I don't think anything you're saying are actually examples of men sacrificing. But I can agree that the proverbial quote unquote good man does sacrifice. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Or he can sacrifice. I don't think all of us do. But some good men do, right? Cool. If a man is to sacrifice, it's probably going to be a good man. I agree. Are most men good men? Absolutely not. So now we're not having the same conversation anymore. You moved the goalpost already.
Sacrifice. Women, we make sacrifices, right? We bear the children, we hold down the home, da da da. But it's equal exchange. The difference is men don't really complain about their sacrifices. And into the women who say that, well, I do everything, sis, that's the marriage you signed up for. No tea, no shade. No.
So now for her, that's the marriage she signed up for. But when the man just works and goes and answers the door, he needs a pat on the back and he needs recognition for all that he does. All right.
Tea, no shade. Y'all gotta work that out. So when men say women will sacrifice their marriage for their happiness, when women say, you know what? I've been with this man for 12 years. We have kids together. We built this home together. We have a life together. But right now, this marriage is not serving me. And I need to go outside this marriage. I need to break up my home. I need to break up my family to go be happy. Men don't understand that crap because that man ain't been happy for a while.
Ma'am, please. Men will break up their home just to get some new vagina. Happiness aside, men do it when they're happy in the relationship. Men step out of the relationship and go fuck a new woman, and they are actually happy. That is what studies actually say about men. At the time of cheating, a good portion of men actually aren't dissatisfied with their significant others and or spouses. They actually will say, no, I'm still in love with her. I still love her. But then why did you cheat? Oh, I mean, shit, there was some pussy there. I had to pick it up off the ground. Shit, what you gonna do? When you see pussy on the ground, you pick it up, right? I'm the only one, so I'm the bad guy. That's what men do.
While, but he sucked it up and kept doing what he needed to do for his family. And then you'll have other women go, yeah, girl, your happiness is over your children's happiness. Your happiness is over the heartbreak that's going to cause to your husband. Your happiness is over.
Are we with the men? You keep mentioning good men and bad men, but now you're talking about women in general saying your girls will say this and that. Once again, are we talking about most women will say this to their friends? Because most women won't. So why not add the caveat of some bad women will do this? For women, it's in general, women will do this. For men, it's the good men. We have to preface the good men, but for the women, it's in general, these women are just evil and they just leave like, it's so frustrating.
Over everything. You see how crazy that sounds?
Yeah,
Very
because
selfish.
the reason why
This
that's crazy,
marriage is not
the reason why it's crazy is because it's not true.
serving me, and I need to go outside this marriage. I need to break up my home. I need to break up my family to go be happy. Men don't understand that crap because that man ain't been happy for a while, but he sucked it up and kept doing what he needed to do for his family. And then you'll have other women go, yeah, girl, your happiness is over your children's happiness. Your happiness is over the heartbreak that's going to cause to your husband. Your happiness is over everything. You see how crazy that sounds? It's very selfish. So, no, you don't care that your children will have to go back and forth between different homes. No, you won't care about how that is going to hurt your husband because he might be very stoic and not show it, but he still has feelings, especially if he was a good man, especially if he did not.
Why would a woman leave a good man, ma'am? Are we not? We're just gonna brush over that. What percentage of women are leaving these good men? Again, for the women, it's women in general, but she's talking about these women in general versus these very few good men. And you're trying to make it seem like women are leaving good men, like just on the regular. Like, come on.
People and his feelings and the stuff that he wanted to do for you, and just for you to turn around and be like, I'm unhappy. And then when we go out into the world and we realize fat meat ain't greasy and the grass ain't greener and the dating pool is, then we get mad.
Is that true? Let's see. Studies show that only around 15 to 20% of women regret getting divorced. About 15-20% of women regret getting divorced. And that is even considering the fact that women lose 40% of their household income once they get divorced versus men who only lose about 22% of their household income. So women lose more in divorce financially, in spite of all the lies being told about divorce, how men lose everything. Women actually lose more in divorce. And even with that being said, they still regret divorce far less than men do. So can we stop lying and saying that women are leaving their men and then they're like, oh, the grass ain't greener on the vast majority of women, the grass actually indeed is greener on the other side. Let's be for real.
Men's problem and it's men's fault. And other men are sitting there looking at you like we could have told you that, because what they know that we do not is that every man is not going to love you the way your husband loves you. Yes, I know you think you're great. Yes, I know that you are beautiful and your booty is plump and all this other stuff. But men know that they only really love a few women in their lives. They will sleep with a lot of women. They will give attention to a lot of women. But the love down, it's only about 2 or 3. So when a man decides, hey, I want you, I love you enough to marry you, I love you enough to protect you, provide, whatever, again, the good ones, because somebody gonna be in the comments, the good ones. Other men are bewildered and bamboozled that you couldn't sacrifice just a little uncomfortability, a little unhappiness, a little just to get through that season, because what they know that we don't is our emotions don't last forever. Men are not emotional like we are. They know how to thug it out through their emotions to get to the other side. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is easy. I'm not saying that every marriage is going to be perfect and you ain't going to have your issues and you ain't going to have your ups and downs. But if you get married in your 20s and your 30s and you plan to be with this person for the rest of your life and you don't think you ain't going to have a few years of hard or misery or whatever, you don't think that you ain't going to have to go through something. Again, I'm not talking about cheating because somebody's going to be like, cheating. I'm not talking about that. But we as women have to understand that sometimes our happiness is our job. Sometimes it's not our marriage, it's going to get a hobby. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with your family of why you ain't unhappy. Sometimes it's your hormones. Sometimes you just need to get a life, girl. Sometimes you need new friends. Sometimes you might just need a vacation. So I am not the guru to marriage, but I had to break that down because sis didn't understand what I was talking about. Men say it to each other all the time and it clicks. So hopefully.
Men lie to each other all the time, man. I don't know what to tell you. Men are bold-faced liars. Don't let men sell you this lie. This is not true. It's just not true. It's just not true. There's no statistical, no scientific data you can point to make any of your points. None of them. I refuted everyone with actual data. Common critical thinking, historical references, whatever, but we can just do it scientifically. Nothing you're saying is rooted in anything tangible. You cannot find a stitch of evidence to support this. None whatsoever. Men do not sacrifice shit in a marriage. I swear to God. Like generally speaking, the vast majority of men, nothing. All we do is gain. Women live shorter lives. Women live less happy lives, less fulfilled lives, make less money in marriages. The complete opposite for men. What the fuck do we sacrifice? Make zero